So I'm trying to think what was the worst performance of the weekend other than my gambling on college football, which was just atrocious.
Come on. You only show me winners. So all I saw was – I'm just saying, all you show me is winners.
I had one win, okay? And
he said all.
And the one win was a fluke. I bet the over-under, the point total in the FSU-LSU game. And then when I went to go send the proof to Brady Quinn, I accidentally said FSU instead of LSU. So I couldn't even get that right completely. But that was my one win. I did like LSU -1.5. Yeah. And that did not go well. They got
awful.
They got manhandled by Florida State in that game. And Brian Kelly, the head coach of LSU.
Hi, my family. We ain't done winning yet.
A man born and raised in Cajun country, depending on how soon after he does an interview or talks with a people at an LSU basketball game. Brian Kelly did all of a sudden clear up his Cajun accent to let his team know about how they performed, how he coached, and what LSU looked like after that week 1 throttling to FSU over the weekend.
This is a total failure on a coaching standpoint and a player standpoint that, we have to obviously address and we have to own. I know adversity is always going to strike at some time in this game, and this is our first real piece of adversity, if you will, that we have to address. And I'm confident our guys will and our coaches will rally in the manner that they need to.
For some reason, we thought we were somebody else. We thought we were the 2-time national champion Georgia Bulldogs or something. I don't know what we thought, but we were mistaken.
So
he was very clear English and those comments there.
Yeah,
there was no accent at all.
Either.
No accent.
Rouge. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say they're probably not going to be in the top 5.
I don't think they'll be in the top 10, top 12.
That was bad.
Here's the tough part. It is incredibly difficult, and LaVar, I know you called Penn State West Virginia, but West Virginia is no layup either. Just because they're not, I guess, scheduled or the betting favorite, they're not one of the betting favorites. It's not like coming out of the gate that's an easy deal to deal with a Power 5 in some cases. Conference opponent. That's not a conference opponent, but still like another formidable opponent in week 1.
A neighborly rival is what that was.
I mean, and this game was played in Orlando, which was essentially, it's like when we played the Sugar Bowl against LSU. I was like, oh, yeah, no, there's a lot of Notre Dame fans here. Like, we got there. It was like 90-10. I was like, holy cow. I forgot all these people just live, maybe an hour or so away. I mean, those games, that game didn't set up well for LSU. But I'll say this. The issues that LSU had, to me, were more coaching than they were their players. Harold Perkins Jr. is one of the best talents as an edge rusher. They got him playing off the ball as a linebacker. He was a spy for the majority of the game for Jordan Travis. That is a travesty. Like, as a former quarterback, anytime I saw an edge rusher drop into coverage,
he was like, yes.
I was like, thank God. This is the stupidest defensive coordinator that you could have when you've got such a ridiculous talent, and you're like, well, no, we don't want you to get a beat on what he's doing. No. Let the guy do what he's made to do. He was made to rush quarterbacks, get sacks, strip sacks, negative plays. Like, why would you want to put him anywhere else? Like, what puts the most pressure on the offense? It's when you have to deal with that guy every single play. It's like, we've got Aaron Donald. We should drop him into coverage too, huh? Like, what do you think? Just mix it up a bit, just so they don't get a beat on where he's at? It's like, it's sometimes, like, coaches, like, overthink stuff. But that was the first issue I had. Like, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, what the hell? Why is he off the – what is he doing? Why is he in coverage right? Like, what's he sitting back there? I mean, they literally gave, at least defensively, a layup to Jordan Travis and Florida State, allowing him to have more time in the pocket, more time to throw the football downfield to Keon Coleman. Now, I'll say this. I mean, Florida State's got some huge pass catchers.
Big guys.
Johnny Wilson's big. Keon Coleman, as you saw, showed out the Michigan State transfer. Jaheim Bell, too, showed off his athleticism. I mean, they're going to be tough for anyone to match up, especially with Benson in the backfield. But offensively for LSU, defensively for Florida State, look, the offensive line issues displayed themselves. We kind of knew that. I mean, Jared Verse is one of the other best pass rushers. But I was more just kind of surprised by the overall game plan. I mean, Jaden Daniels ran the football as much as anyone last year. And I kind of feel like sometimes when they struggled offensively to find a rhythm, it's like just let the kid run. Like do what he had done a ton and just pound away at a team like that, especially when they've got really good edge rushers. Like you got to kind of sometimes take the fight to them. So I know at one point in the game it got out of hand and you weren't going to have the opportunity to do that. But I thought early on, like not taking points, going for fourth downs, terrible play calls on those fourth downs. It was like this is just one of the worst game planned schematics or matchups I've seen in quite some time. Opening a weekend where you have all offseason to prepare for this matchup.
They get to recover this week against Grambling.
That's racist.
Yeah, come on.
That's racist.
We're going to take this?
Was that racist?
I'm not going to stand for this.
Why is that racist?
Recover against
Grambling.
Yeah.
What was that supposed to mean?
Thank you.
It's an inferior team to LSU.
Oh, my God.
Oh, okay. Why are they inferior? Come on, LaVar.
Because it's a black college.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry. It is.
Sorry, Lee.
I mean,
Why
I'm
do
just
you
saying.
apologize to
They'll
Lee?
get to recover against Grambling State. Then they'll play Mississippi State. That'll be an interesting game for them. That'll be a tough game. Arkansas will be a tough game for them.
Every game's going to be a tough game now.
Right. So, I mean, Army, not so much. But then they have Alabama, Florida, Georgia State, and then A&M. Like, I mean, can they recover well enough to run it? Can they run it? Or maybe a two-loss team can not
this
SEC.
year. I mean, it's an ACC loss, so it doesn't matter. It's not a conference.
Right.
Like, my concern is they beat Bama last year, and it felt like that was their Super Bowl. Like, it felt like, especially for Brian Kelly, too, who lost Nick Saban back in 2012 when he was the Notre Dame head coach.
They got to go to Alabama.
Exactly. And, by the way, Bama with Jalen Milroe looks awesome. It looks like they're going to be able to have a game plan around what his skill set is and what he can do, and they could be dangerous. But I think my greater point is they kind of like won the SEC West first year and maybe got a little too happy about that result and not the ultimate goal and ultimate result.
It's just there's a different vibe coming off this loss to open the season than there was last year with Brian Kelly. Like this one, they just looked like they got dominated. And, it got ugly late in that game. But now you just got to – and Nick Saban's going to be gunning for that revenge against LSU later in the year.
I just think a lot of teams struggle for some – I just think that week ones are different for college football teams than what they ever have been because of the way the preparation is taking place.